Right, guys. Shall we start the session? Correct. So we started the new lesson, insurance, right? So what is it about when you say insurance? So it's about that you transfer the risk. So we're now doing a business. Yes, there is a risk that you have to accept, right? So we talk about those things, right? Even our life is at a risk sometime. So obviously doing a business is always a risk. හැබැයි අපි risk එකක් කියලා business නොකර ඉන්නෙත් නැහැ. So that is why well insurance come and help us. So it's a kind of a pooling of risk, guys. Now, can you remember the fact that so we have the the businesses or could be the individuals, and they pool the risk for an insurance company. So the insurance company is there. So everyone is contributing, right, by paying a premium. So it's a kind of a fund is created. The fund එකක් හැදෙනවා. එහෙනම් මේ එකකට මොන හරි damage එකක් loss එකක් වෙච්ච ගමන් so then both parties could be benefited. Right? So we talk about the risk is that the probability or the space of occurring a damage could be a property, it could be a life, right? So that is why in the upcoming session we will be studying about the insurance two parts, which is the general insurance and the life insurance, right? So we'll be coming to those parts. So then guys, we talk about risk. So in terms of the risk, we discussed what we can do with the risk. The risk එකට අපිට මොනවද කරන්න පුළුවන් කියන එක. So we can reduce the risk. Sometimes we have to just face the risk. අවදානමට අපිට ඒ විදිහට මුහුණ දෙන්න වෙනවා. So here it's a pooling of risk. එහෙම නැත්නම් අපිට ගන්න risk transfer. You transfer your risk to another party, right? Correct. So then we talk about not that all the risk that you can get an insurance policy. The hammer risk එකක්ම අපිට මේ විදිහට insure කරන්න බෑ. So then the risk that we divided into two, say insurable risk and non-insurable risk. Right? Something depend on your personal capacity, your personal strength. So those things insurance company will not accept as a risk, right? It's a risk for you, but it comes under the non-insurable risk. Right? Something like the business profit or loss. Right? So then no chance of getting an insurance policy. So that's what we were talking about. Right, and also we talk about the importance of insurance as well. Insurance the investor confidence, right? The risk transfer abilities there, and then the collected fund, insurance company can do what? So they invest this amount, right? They invest. So where do we invest? In share markets, investment opportunities, in real estate. So they try to invest these funds. So then it's kind of when you say the important to the businesses, important to the society as well. So because it creates job opportunities and it helps the business to come back when something happened to the businesses. එතකොට මොනාරි ලොකු warehouse එකක්ම ගිනි ගන්නවා. ඊට පස්සේ ඊළඟ දවසේ ආපහු මේ business එක start කරන්න capacity එකක් නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So but the insurance is there, right? So then they try to claim the whatever the damages occur. එහෙනම් ඊළඟ දවසේ මුළු warehouse එකම ගිනි ගත්තත් next day, so they'll be able to start the business again because why? The insurance is there. So likewise, when you come to important to the businesses and also important to the society as well, right? So those things that we discussed, right? Now coming to guys today's content, right? Insurance day 2. මොනවද අපි කතා කරන්න යන්නේ? Insurance proposal, insurance agreement, insurance policy, right? So things like we'll be discussing. Now let me explain this part, right? So this is just about the quick recap on what we discussed previous day, right? Guys, if you in case you missed sessions, please keep me informed so I can share this recorded session for you. And also please make sure before you join for the next class you watch it and go through it, right? So then it's easy to catch up the things. Right. So I'll start with the insurance proposal. Now let's say for a fact that so we first, you guys, you know the three parties when it comes to insurance, right? එකක් තමයි අපි කියන first party එක. කවුද first party එක? Insured. අපි කියනවා insured. Insure වෙන කෙනා. So if you obtain a life insurance, ඔයාලා life insurance එකක් ගන්නවා. කොහෙන්ද ගන්නෙ? Softlogic life insurance, right? Softlogic insurance company එකකුත් තියෙනවා. සමහර Softlogic එකම ඔයගොල්ලෝ අහලා තිබුණා හරි. Showrooms, electrical equipments තියෙනවා. හැබැයි ඒත් එක්කම it's a group of company, right? එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔයගොල්ලෝ අහලා තියෙනවා AIA insurance, right? Selingco insurance, right? And Sri Lanka insurance we cannot forget about, right? Sri Lanka insurance. Right. So here, guys, you are the insured. You are the first party. Or තමයි මෙතන key එක කියනවා වෙන. So you are the first party. Right? So insured. Remember the fact that it could be an individual, it could be an organization, it could be an asset, right? එනම් මේ insured කියන කෙනා individual කෙනෙක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. Right? Could be organization, could be an asset or property. Right? Warehouse එකක්, stock එකක්, machinery, so whatever things, the vehicle එකක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. So asset කිව්වම මේ ඔක්කොම අයිති වෙනවා නේද? asset එකක් කිව්වම ඔක්කොම අයිති. Right. So here's the insured. එහෙනම් අනිත් පැත්තේ කියනවා කවුද? ඔයාගේ second party එක insurer නේද? මේ ඔක්කොම අයිති වෙන්නේ insurer කියන කෙනාට. Insurer. දැන් අද නම් insurer අනිවාර්යෙන්ම insurance company එකක්. But prior to starting this in a standard manner, නේද? මුලින්ම insurance පටන් ගත්ත දවස්වල insurer කෙනෙකුත් person කෙනෙක් individual කෙනෙක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක තමයි marine insurance එකත් එක්ක නැත්නම් අපි කියන්නේ මුහුදු රක්ෂණයත් එක්ක මෙන්න මේ insurance concept එක පටන් ගත්තා. හැබැයි today's context, if we come to today's context, insurer is always an organization, is a company, the insurance company. Right. Now those insured, they have a risk, right? In terms of individual for their life, right? So they have a risk. An organization, they have a risk, or when you come to an asset, something like vehicle, a property, building, warehouse. So all those parties have a risk. So then they need to make a proposal. අපි කියන්නේ propose කරනවා කියන නේද? හරි. දැන් මොනාරි නේද ළමයිද? ගිහිල්ලා propose කරනවා වගේ මේ බලන්න මෙතන තේන insured ගිහිල්ලා propose කරන්න ඕනේ මෙන්න මේ insured ගේ, right? මෙන්න මෙහෙම risk එකක් තියෙනවා. Would you be able to accept that risk? Right? And අපි transfer කරනවා. අපි මම මුලින්ම කිව්වා නේද insurance report transferring the risk to another party. එහෙනම් අපිට පුළුවන් එහෙනම් මේ පැත්තෙන් අපි transfer කරන risk එක insurer accept කරන්න අවශ්‍යයි. So we tried like we are coming up with a proposal. We propose. So kind of a risk is there. Would you like to accept? On behalf of that, we'll be able to pay you a premium, right? The insurance installment. Installment we say as the insurance premium. A proposal or an application. So how do you propose? Propose karna kila ring ekak denne නැහැ නේද? So when you say propose to insurance companies, that application form. So through an application form එකක් තමයි දෙන්නේ. So that is about the insurance proposal. So as the insured, you provide an application or you propose that there's a kind of a risk like that. So maybe when you have the knowledge, you should be analyzed that it should be insurable risk. සමහරට ඔයා ඒක දැනුවත් නැතුවත් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. සමහර non insurable risk එකක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. හැබැයි ඔයා ගිහිල්ලා propose කරද්දී ඒගොල්ලෝ කියනවා sorry sir madam, so we cannot accept this risk, right? Previous exam kind of non-insurable risk, right? So most of the time you have kind of a knowledge to what type of risk that you want to transfer should be a insurable risk, right? Even you don't have that idea, maybe they'll reject it. They say, sorry, we cannot accept that kind of risk, right? Correct. Now this is about, guys, the insurance proposal. You propose, you fill an application form saying this is the type of risk that I would like to transfer. So in terms of they'll be accepting it. Right now, the agreement is that, right? So when you come to the insurance agreement, so where the insurer, how they not second party, second party, insurer agree වෙනවා. If the insurer agrees to accept that risk, so then those parties can come to an agreement. So then the next step is that, so when they accept that risk, right? So they first they propose and they accept it, right? So then they come to an agreement saying, okay, now we are agreed to accept that risk, and this is the premium that you have to pay. These are the benefits that we would like to offer to you, and those are the covers, those are the kind of the risk that we accept, and I think those are the which we do not accept, right? Maybe they're accepted. So this is when you come to the the insurance agreement. Insurance agreement. An agreement. So both parties agree. Well, so then the insurance policy is that to confirm that there's an agreement, they have accepted, again, the insurer issue a kind of a document, a detailed document. Samana, if you talk about, now I'll show you an insurance policy. Samana life insurance insurance policy pages 40 වගේ පොඩි book එකක්, right? ඒ තරමට මේකේ details තියෙනවා, right? එහෙනම් kind of a legal document is there, right? හරි, එහෙනම් මේ බලන්න the insurance proposal එක ගත්තොත් අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් මේක කවුද issue කරන්නේ. අර if you do remember in the trade lesson that we discussed, what is the purpose, who issue that to who, මෙතන බලද්දී the proposal is that insured තමයි. So insured issue or provide that document to the insurer. So you can easily remember that. The agreement is that both parties come to an agreement that, let's say something like this. So they would like to accept the risk, but the kind of the premium is high. So then you will not agree for that, right? So then there's no policy as well. And propose okay, we would like to accept that. Accept but this is the premium. So you say that it's too much, right? It's kind of a high for us. So we'll be considering another insurer. Now, policy create now both parties agree equal sign so insured, insurer. And I propose both parties agree with notice. So that is the agreement. And then the insurance policy is that once they come to a conclusion, insurer issued another detailed a policy, another detailed document. Insurance deed එකක් කියලා කියනනේ සිංහලෙන් කිව්වොත් අපි රක්ෂණ ඔප්පුවක් නේද නැත්නම් policy එකක් අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් කියන්නේ policy එකක් insurance policy. So policy is where insurer මම මෙතන මේක වෙන කාලයකින් ගන්නවා insurer issued to the insured. Insured තමයි issue කරන්නේ. දැන් මේක තමයි ගොඩක් වෙලාවට MCQ වල අහන එක, right? The difference. So it's you need to have a clear understanding between those three concepts. In a මුලින්ම proposal එකට දෙන්නම agree වෙනවා. දැන් කෙනෙක් propose කරපු ගම නේද? එක්කෙනෙක් විතරක් කැමති නම් අනිත් කෙනා කැමති නම් එක වෙන්නේ නැහැ නේද? ඒ නිසා proposal anyone can propose, but agree when both two parties mutually ඒක agree වෙන්න අවශ්‍යයි. So then insurer තමයි card issue කරන්නේ insured. Right. So insurer issue to insured. එතන arrow එක ආවේ නැහැ නේද? හරි. So right. Okay. Right. Insurer again insured තමයි මේක issue කරන්නේ. Right. So this is something we can see. Right. So guys, remember the difference. දැන් මුලින්ම policy එකක් එන්න පුළුවන්ද? බෑ. policy එකක් එන්න බෑ. මුලින්ම agreement එකක් එන්න පුළුවන්ද? බෑ. එහෙනම් proposal, then agreement, then finally the policy. Now policy එකක් කියන්නේ it confirm the fact that you agree to pay the premium. එනවාට මේ premium එක pay නොකර ඉන්නත් බෑ. Right? You might remember it comes under the contractual savings institutes. So once you sign in that policy agreement and the policy, the document, so then you are bound for a legal obligation. අපි කියන නීතිමය බැඳීමක් තියෙනවා. Right? So because it's involved with a lot of legal factors. Hi. So I'll be again revising this part. එහෙනම් මෙතන මොනවද මේකෙන් describe කරන්නේ? The insurance proposal. Right? This describe the proposal. So I'm gonna just separate those factors. එහෙනම් මෙන්න මෙතනින් වාට meaning එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන් insurance proposal. So two parties there, you try to propose through an application form. So මෙතන both parties agree වෙනවා, right? So insurance agreement. එහෙනම් මේ පැත්තේ ඉන්නවා කවුද? Insured. Insured කියව හැමතිස්සෙම person කෙනෙක්ම නෙවෙයි, right? ඒක describe වෙනවා මෙතනින්. So මේ පැත්තේ ඉන්නවා insurer. So they discuss and come to an agreement. ඊට පස්සේ finally I'll take somewhere here, right? So then insured issue කරන policy එකක් අපේ එකට කියනවා like we discussed insurance policy document, right? Again you have the parties here, insurer or the company, මෙතන ඉන්නවා insured. So this is about what? This is about the insurance policy. Now මෙතන මේකට number 1 දාන because there's an order. නේද? මොකද agreement එකට කලින් policy එක ගෙන්නත් බෑ. policy එකට කලින් sorry proposal එකට කලින් policy එක ගෙන්නත් බෑ නිසා. So number 1 insurance proposal. So here you have number 2. So they discuss, they come to an agreement. Someone මෙතන agree නොවෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. මම අර කලින් කිව්වා නේද? යාගේ අනේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ benefits නම් අඩුයි නේද? ඔයාලගේ coverage එක අඩුයි. Premium එක වැඩි. Right? ඔයාගේ conditions අපිට agree වෙන්න බෑ. දැන් මෙතනදී නවතින්නත් පුළුවන් agree වෙන්න නැත්තම්. So this is number 2 insurance agreement. And here you have number 3 the insurance policy. දැන් මෙතන මේ number 4 ගැන වෙන එකක්. ඒකත් එක්ක පටලවා ගන්න එපා. This is a different case, right? I hope guys you know understood that fact, right? So what I want to do is the write down the topic insurance day 2. This is our day plan. You can see. So we can take as well. Maybe you know what we then discuss. I'll leave a note as well. And can we have this note? මම දන්නේ මේ chart එක දාගත්තොත් ඔයාලට පැහැදිලි වෙයි. Right? So number 1 describe insurance proposal, and number 2 is the insurance agreement, and finally you have the insurance policy. So remember the fact that, right, to whom that received, the person who issued the document or person who received it. Here from insured to insurer. This is from insurer to insured. Right, so take the content right after that. So you could draw this explanation. ඊට පස්සේ ඔයාලට තියෙන පොඩ්ඩක් note එක කියව ගන්න විතරයි, right? So then you have the better understanding. Right, so I'll give like another 2 to 3 minutes. I hope that time is sufficient. Right. Now, guys, when you come to your grade 12 syllabus, and there are like 11 topics. And make some more topics. How do you say? Content classify small size lesson, medium size lesson, and nothing large scale. So like we classify the business organization based on the scale. අපි කලින් කතා trade lesson වගේ ගත්තොත් ඒක කියන්න පුළුවන් ටිකක් large scale පැත්තට ටිකක් content එක වැඩි. Insurance ඊට පස්සේ insurance වගේ lesson එකක් medium size කියලා අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට පස්සේ ඊළඟට එනවා වගේ communication, logistics and transportation ටිකක් චරම ලොකු පාඩම් නෙමෙයි, right? ඊට පස්සේ lesson number 7, lesson number 3 that we discussed. So those are right. With high content. Right? So probably we'll be able to finish this part as well within a limited number of sessions. Tubes guys, lesson number 2 tube එකයි ඊට පස්සේ trade එකේ past paper tube එකයි මේ tube එකයි තවත් tube set එකක් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට දාලා තින්නේ. So hope you'll receive that soon, and just let me know so once you received that as well. Right, so again another 1 minute. I hope guys you are done with writing. So just so then we can move to the tube and we'll write a note. Note එකක් දාගමු. මොකක්ද agreement එකක් කියන්නේ, මොකක්ද policy එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ. Yes, are you done with writing? Is it taking too much for you to write? Right. Raise your hand, guys. You're done with writing. Raise your hand. Go on camera. So that's option. Okay. Right. Okay, cool. Right, shall we move to the next part? Hari, අපි මම මෙහෙමම තියෙනවා. අපි tube එක පැත්තට එමු. Insurance agreement, insurance policy. Right, අපි මේ note එක දාගමු. So this is clear, right? So let me share the screen. Right, so here the small the insurance agreement and the insurance policy. And then order මේ ඔක්කොම ටික complete කරගන්න පුළුවන් once you receive the tube, right? So try to manage with the soft copy for the movement. Right, so shall we write these two explanations? Insurance agreement is a written agreement that takes place when an insurance proposal form or the application form presented by the person who intends to obtain. So that is the insured, the person who intends to obtain the insurance. The insured is accepted by the insurance institution, called the institution maker insurer. That's what I was trying to explain. And here about insurance policy, you can take this as well. So that is also a written certificate given by an insurance institute. Insurer, given by the insurance institute to the insured after the agreement, right? Agreement agree උනාට පස්සේ issue කරන document. Right, shall we take this? Right, another 1 minute. So then I'll come back to the board again. Right. I hope you're clear with those two, the concept that we discussed. Right, guys. Now, when we come to an agreement, right? So I'll stop the sharing. But if you're still writing, let me know. Drop me a message. Always be connected. Right. දැන් අපිට agreement එකක් පුළුවන් ද තනියම agreement එකක් ගහගන්න බෑ. එහෙනම් parties involved. So right, the person who involved with this agreement. As you know, there are like three parties තුනක් ඉන්නවා. First party, which is the insured, could be an individual, could be a life or property asset. And the second party, insurance company or the insurer. අපි කවුද මේ third party කියලා කියන්නේ? සමහර මේ third party කියන වචන ඔයගොල්ලෝ අහලා තියෙනවා. මේ අපි කියන්නේ නේද? වාහනයක් පාරකට දාන්න අවශ්‍ය නම් at least you need to have a third party insurance. Right, third party එකක් තියෙනවා. එහෙනම් now the thing is that we talk about the risk, the possibility of happening the damages to a property or life. හැබැයි මෙතනදී there could be a damages to external parties, right? External parties. External parties, right? For example, to tell you a true story, ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැකලා තියෙනව නේද? අමාරු ලොකු බෝඩ්ස් ගහලා තියෙනවා. සාමාන්‍ය අපිට ෆුඩ් සිටි කීල්ස් එකක් ළඟ අර ලොකු බෝඩ්ස් ගහලා තියෙනවා. සමහර දැකලා මේ වගේ මෙන්න මේ විදිහට පාට එක ගිහිල්ලා මෙන්න ලොකු බෝඩ් එක. right? මෙන්න මේ මේක නැකලානේ. ගොඩක් වෙලාවට කම්පැනි නේම්, right? ලොකු ලයිට්ස් දාලා ලොකු උස්ස බෝඩ්ස් ගහනවා. right? මෙන්න මේ විදිහට ගොඩක් වෙලාවට ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැකලා තියෙනවා. right? උස්සට ගහනවා මේ වගේ බෝඩ්ස් අපිට මොනාරි KFC නම් මෙහෙම කියලා ගහලා. right? So මෙතනදී මේක කම්පැනි එකක් ගහලා තිබ්බ මේ වගේ ලොකු බෝඩ් එකක් එතන ළඟ පාක් කරලා තිබුණා වාහනයක මේ බෝඩ් එක සුළඟටත් එක්ක කැඩලා ගැලවිලා ගිහිලා අර වෑන් එකක වැදුණා. right? හරි. දැන් එහෙම බැලුවොත් අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් එතනදී ඒ කම්පැනි එකේ බිල්ඩින් එකටත් ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ෂෝරූම් එකටත් ඩැමේජ් වෙලා තිබුණා. හැබැයි එතන පාක් කරලා තිබ්බ වෙහිකල් එකකට ඩැමේජ් වෙලා තිබුණා. right? එහෙනම් මෙතන insured කියලා තියෙන අපිට මේ KFC බෝඩ් එකක් කඩාගෙන වැටෙනවා. right? ආයෙත් ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ outlet එකටත් මේකෙන් හානි වෙනවා. So that is comes under insured, the first party. හැබැයි that external party has also faced some damages. So that's due to that incident. So that's we known as the external party. නැත්නම් අපි කියන third party එකක්. දැන් අපි කිව්වොත් නේද වාහනයක් දැම්මොත් ඒකේ ඇතුළේ යන drivers include all others, the first party, right? අපිට insurance එකක් තියෙනවා Selinco එකේ. එහෙනම් පාරේ යන මිනිස්සු පාරේ තියෙන properties, other vehicles comes under the third party, right? It is a main damage එක නිසා the person who face those damages due to those incidents which are not related to the first party all comes under this set of third party. එහෙනම් agreement එකකදී so like three parties, but in this agreement එකේ sign කරන්නේ only the first two parties. Third party අපි දන්නන්නේ කවුරු වේද කියලා third party. So then at least you need to have an agreement. The agreement එකක් තියෙන at least you need to have two parties. So here you have the first and the second party, right? So that's about the insurance agreement, right? The parties related to an insurance agreement. So we can take that as well. So no need of much explanation. Parties related to insurance agreement. Right. So I'm going to share the screen. First party. The person who presents an insurance proposal. Insurance proposal the person who presents insurance proposal or the person who obtained the coverage be known as the first party. Insurer, the party who accept the risk, the party who accept the insurance proposal. The party who issue the policy. Right? So now you realize the fact that, right, having the knowledge about the proposal agreement, so then even you can create your own definition. The person who issue an insurance policy is the second party. The party who accept the insurance proposal or the insurance company. Apart from the third party that you take separately, right? Number 3. Apart from the above, there can also be a third party. The third party is the apart from right? The third party is the relationship about the external party that comes to an activation of the agreement, right? So we are not in a position to exactly describe the external party. It's depend on the situation, depend on the instant, right? මිනිසෙක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. බිල්ඩින් එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. තාප්පයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? A third party එකක්. So that's what this explained. So apart from the main two parties, the external party which comes to the activation of the agreement. No need of this one. Right, guys. I hope you're done with writing. So this is just a matter of understanding the parties who involved with the agreement. Now, because when you say agreement, right, you cannot just enter to an agreement with yourself. Agreement it's like a partnership. We can partnership open partnership business. At least you need to have two parties, right? Correct. Harina method be done, right? Proposal, agreement, policy, and then parties related. So done. Next one. So before we start the insurance principles, they are like the principles of insurance. It's one of key important area in this lesson. We'll discuss the valid insurance agreement. Then ඕනම agreement එකක් තිබුණා කියලා ඒක valid වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Right? So there are some criteria the both parties need to fulfill when it comes to a valid agreement. නැත්නම් effective agreement එකක් වෙන්න. එහෙම නැත්නම් මේක invalid agreement එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So I'll explain. Now the agreement is that the number 2, right? So insured propose here an application form. So then it's matter of accepting it by the insured company. So whether they accept, right? Now, so those are the set of things you need to make sure that fulfill when you come to valid agreement. Agreement එකක් නිකම් තිබුණා කියලා ඒක valid වෙන්නේ නැහැ. So valid when you need to fulfill couple of things. I'll explain first part. The idea of the legal obligation. දැන් මෙතන පොඩ්ඩක් බාර වචන තිබ්බට බය වෙන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. මොකද guys this is something like this. The ඔයාගේ සමහර lessons තියෙනවා comes from law. The law කියන්නේ commercial law. සමහරව අහලා තියෙන මේ law කියවම තියෙනවා criminal law, civil law. So then commercial law. එතන මේ insurance ඊට පස්සේ partnerships වගේ වෙන types of the business organization lesson. Yeah, so there are a couple of things come from law. ඊට පස්සේ අපි කතා කරපු trade lesson එකේ තිබ්බ agents type of agent ඒකදී අපි agency law කියලා. So මේ වගේ වචන set එකක් තියෙනවා comes from the commercial law. So the area of commercial law. Now when it comes to this insurance, the idea of the legal obligation is that, right? Because what will happen, guys? Now what will happen when you say, right? Because both parties they are like bound for a legal obligation. I'll explain. So what is this legal obligation is that, correct? So you need to have that idea. So you propose, right? In the agreement, they agree. Now insured agree to pay a premium, right? And insurer accept the risk and agree to pay those compensation. හරියම උනේ නැතුණත් එකක් තමයි මොනවාද? Insured premium pay කරන එක මග හරිනවා. So the insured avoid paying the premium. So in that case, insurer can take actions against him. So what they can do? Now, for example, I would say when you come to an life insurance policy, එකක් අරගෙන at least you need to continue 3 years. 3 years continue. So it's depend on the some of the organization. At least 3 years for continuously payments කරේ නැත්නම් ඔයාට අර කරපු payments වත් හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Right? So imagine the difference between the bank account and depositing money in a life insurance policy. Right? ඊට පස්සේ අවුරුදු 3ට වැඩි ඉඳලා policy term එකක් එක්ක අතරමඟදී ඔයාලා මේක නවත්තන්න maybe එකකින් හම්බෙන්නේ 3න් එකක් වගේ මුළු pay කරපු ප්‍රමාණය. So likewise this is that's why we say this is a contractual savings institute. So when it comes to life insurance, both parties need to have that the idea is their mind saying we are going for a legal obligation. අපි දැන් මේ නීතිමය බැඳීමක් ද example like විදිහට okay now because what do you say these what do you register, guys, when you come to this the birth certificates, marriage certificates, legal obligation. So when you sign, you cannot say, so that's why. So once you sign, it's signed. So like this. So they are legally bound as a husband and wife. So the legal obligation is there, right? Correct. So likewise, so here the insured and insurer, they need to have the idea of the legal obligation. Right? So where both parties need to fulfill the agreed terms as per the agreement. Each party has a right to go to the courts, right? Before courts, they try to get this, right? In an insurer insured when so they can take the legal action because this agreement accept in the law, right? Make a neat document, right? Correct. So this is one criteria in order to fulfill. And then there should be offer and proposal. The offer or proposal, yes, in a valid agreement, that is what I told you. So the agreement cannot come first, or agreement cannot come, before the proposal. That is why they need to offer or proposal. The application form should be there, right? In a valid agreement, proposal or the offer should be there. Kaudena make offer එක කරන්නේ, කවුද මේක propose කරන්නේ, insured. So that should be there. And not only that, offer කරා කියලා agreement එකක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. So the acceptance should be there. In acceptance කවුද? Accepted by insurer. Insurer මේක accept කරන්න ඕනේ, right? So that is why that should be there. And the legal validity. So then only it becomes a legal validity. So when the both parties agreed, right, the insurer accepted, so then both parties agreed, then there's a legal validation about this agreement. So when you are having the legal validity, then only you can issue a insurance policy. In a policy issue, so you need to have this legal validity. And this one very important. The ability to have a legal obligation. You need to have a capacity for that. Example, like a person below 18 years old. So they don't have the legal capacity. Then I'm 18, the 16, I'm not sure. The bank account now 16 they can 16 plus also bank account. Right. Then example like something like this. For example, even for the bank account, the junior accounts, minor accounts, minor below 16 years old. So they do not have the capacity to enter to a legal contract. So they look at court මට මේක නේද මෙයාගේ මොනවාද මට මේක තේරුනේ නැහැ නේද මම දන්නේ නැහැ මට මේ අංකල් කෙනෙක් කිව්වා මේම සයින් කරන්න කියලා මම සයින් කරා කියලා කෝට් එකේ ගිහලා නේද අඬනවා මොනාරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් so something like this ඒකට අපේ ඒගොල්ලෝ කියන හරි I think I'm not sure the age whether it's 16 or 18 right but 18 අපි හිතමු 16 කියලා එනවා so below 16 or below 18 now or insured you cannot be one of party right you cannot be one of party ඒ කියන්නේ insured කෙනෙක් වෙන්න බෑ හැබැයි then you might ask the question then how you go and open bank accounts how you get the insurance policy එකෙන් කියන්නේ නැහැ minor කෙනෙක්ට insurance policy එකක් ගන්න බෑයි කියලා so the parents can take or the insurance policy on behalf of them සාමාන්‍ය පොඩි කාලේ bank account එකක් open කරන්නේ parents will on behalf of you they go and open so once you reach 18 or 16 then you go to the bank and you convert it to your name so then you can make withdrawals right but prior to that you cannot do like that so then that's one of the thing ඊට පස්සේ කිව්වොත් mentally කිව්වොත් stable so the word is so you have like a normal person right you don't have any like mental any disorders right so then in the court you can say okay this person is kind of having mental disorder so the agreement is not valid so likewise the capacity to have a legal obligation should be there, something like the age criteria, right? Something like the mental stability or not having any disorder, right? So those are the things having the legal obligation. Anitheka, insurer also, now there are a couple of laws applicable in Sri Lanka. Something like Sri Lanka Insurance Board is there, so it could be a registered insurer. So likewise, they need to fulfill some of the capacities. The both parties to have the legal obligation. The example like with it, can you start your own insurance company? Right? But insurer කෙනෙක් වෙනවා. Right? So you know go and contribute premiums. If in case I'll pick that. Why? Because you're not regulated insurance firm. You're not registered. You have not yet any license, right, from the Sri Lanka Insurance Board. So likewise, the both parties have the ability to go in for a legal obligation. So those are the things to be fulfilled when you say insurance agreement to be a valid agreement. Just agreement එකක් තිබිලා බෑ. ඒක valid agreement එකක් වුණොත් තමයි before court එහෙම නැත්නම් law එක ඉදිරියේ මේක agreement එකක් කියලා පිළිගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ, right? So that is something when it comes to this, the concept of valid insurance agreement. So those criteria need to be fulfilled. So again, I'm telling you, both parties need to have the idea of they're going for a legal obligation. මේකට ගියොත් නීතිමය බැඳීමක් තියෙනවා කියන එක පැහැදිලි වෙන්න ඕනේ. And then there should be an offer or proposal, and then the acceptance by the insurer, and then the legal validity should be there, and also the ability to have the legal obligation. So those, once you fulfill those criteria, your agreement will become a valid agreement. In a valid agreement එකකට තමයි insurance policy එක issue කරන්නේ. කවුද? By the insurer to the insured, right? Shall we take this one, guys? So coming back to the tute again. So we have this one to validate an insurance agreement. The below things need to be accepted. Shall we write those one by one? So make sure you have that idea with you. So I'm going to share with the first one, the idea of the legal obligation. Insurance offer or the proposal should be there. Right. So I'm going to give you 1 minute to complete that. So then we are coming to the second part of today's session, which is the principles of insurance. Rakshana Mula Dharma, insurance of principles. Sorry, principles of insurance. Principles of insurance. I hope up to this level, you are well confident about the things that we discussed. ගොඩක් exam එකේ principles of insurance ගැන continuously හැම අවුරුද්දකම වගේ මොන හරි එක principle එකක් ගැන they check on that, right? Whether the student have that the required knowledge in terms of the principles of insurance. Right. So done with this part as well. Mama ikara hariyak dana. So now the session is all about the principles of insurance. Right? I'll start like this. The concept of insurance relies on this set of principles. නැත්නම් මේ කියන basics ටික හරියට තියෙනවා. Because why? Then the people can mislead the advantages, or they really get the I would say the advantages of those insurance concept, right, in a unethical manner. How did that? Right. Now this insurance principle valid to the both parties, but especially to the insured. Now, if for example, we say for a fact that when you come to a business or an individual, to make a business එකක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, individual කෙනෙක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. Right? So අනිත් පැත්තෙන් මෙතන ඉන්නවා insurer. Right? මේ පැත්තේ insurer. Right? Because why you need to have set of principles is the fact that insurance, guys, it's not about earning profits. එහෙනම් මේ insurance කියන එකේ profit එකක් earn වෙන එකක් නෙමෙයි. Now I'll explain this one. Example එකක් විදියට what we say that මම හිතන්නේ පොඩි කාලේ දැන්වත් උගුල අර games එල්ලම් කරනද computer games. ඔය එක games වල තියනවා නේද අර මොනාරි mission එකකට යද්දි inject කරගන්න පුළුවන් නේද අර ඔයාලට damages වෙනවනේ මේ විදිහට අර පෙන්නනවා නේද කොච්චරක් fill මොනාරි නේද වෙඩි වැදුනාම හරි මේව අර level එක පල්ලෙහාට යනවා ඊට පස්සේ ආ inject කරපු ගමන් ආපහු fully complete වෙනවා So something like this. Insurance is about to come to the level where you were before. The example එකක් විදියට, so in this insured, you had a warehouse, right? Warehouse එකක් තියෙනවා. Warehouse, the total, the value of the warehouse, let's say including the stocks, 10 million rupees. So I'm just telling you an example, right? Warehouse එකක් තියෙනවා, ඒකේ value එක 10 million including the stocks. ඒකේ තියෙන තොගයත් එක්ක building එකේ property ඔක්කොම value එක 10 million. මේක fully damage වෙනවා. Damage කිව්වොත් the fully මේක fire එකක් වෙලා මේක ගින්නක් වෙලා මේ ඔක්කොම නැති වෙනවා. විනාශ වෙනවා. එහෙනම් it should so when you come to the insurer, right? So they have the fund, right, which you contributed premium, not only you, all the insured parties. Then what a Maybury level of 15 million. What will happen? So imagine you had a warehouse which you have insured and an obtained insurance policy, right? Which the worth of 10 million in ABC insurance company. If in case, if you were able to claim 15 million for this property, what will happen? තවත් සරලම කියන්න. මිලියන 10ක් වටින property එක damage වෙලා ඔයාට මිලියන 15ක් ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන් වුණොත් මොකද හිතෙන්නේ? Right? So that's a profit. That's a profit of 5 million. So the first one, insurance is not to earn profits. So there should not be any profits in insurance. රක්ෂණේ ලාභ ලබන්න බෑ. එහෙම වුණොත් මොනවද වෙන්නේ? හෙට දවසේ ලංකාවේ තියෙන හැම warehouse එකක්ම එකින් එක ඒගොල්ලන්ම ගිනි තියාගෙන හරි ගිනි ගනි නේද? අපි එහෙම කියමු නේද? ගිනි ගනි. ඇයි? ඔයා දන්නවනේ මෙතන profit එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා. So likewise. Correct? Remember the fact that insurance is not to earn a profit. It's just to cover the damages. They cover the losses that you incur. එහෙනම් මේ ලැබෙන claim එක 10 million වලින් නවතිනවා. Right? එහෙනම් මෙතනින් අරව refill වෙනවා වගේ මෙතනින් උඩට යන්නේ නැහැ. Fully වෙච්ච damages ටික cover වෙනවා විතරයි. Correct? So that keep in mind. So I'm again telling you, right? So when you come to a property, property එකක් damages වෙලා ඔයාට මෙතනින් profit එකක් ලැබෙනවා නම් හැමෝම මේ දේ කරයි, not to transfer the risk. It's a kind of the business activity. ඒතර හැමෝම business එකක් විතර මේක කරයි. Obtaining an insurance policy, ඊට පස්සේ මොනාරි කාවන් දාම්මලා හරි කොහොම හරි මේක ගිනිගෙන හරි නැත්නම් කාට හරි කියලා හොරකම් කරලා හරි whatever the things. ගිහිල්ලා complaint කරලා අනිත් පැත්තේ insurance එක ගන්නවා. හරි සමහර movies උත් දෙන අය ඔයගොල්ලෝ බැලුවොත් සමහරවට ඔය even the criminal cases නේද ලොකු කෙනෙක් යාගේ ලොකු insurance policy එකක් තියද්දි එයාගේ මොනාරි kidnap කරලා හරි ආව මාරලා හරි මේ විදිහට ඒ insurance policies ගන්නවා. Right? So kind of things are there. So remember the fact that insurance is not about earning a profit, just to cover up the damages. එහෙනම් මේක මත තමයි මේ insurance principles හැදලා තියෙන්නේ. Now for example, there's something called indemnity. Is the fact that it will cover only the damages or the loss incurred. එතනින් එහාට එක රුපියලක්වත් ඔයාලට ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ. Right? එහෙම වුණොත් the concept of insurance, the businesses will use not to transfer the risk, right? It's a kind of a business activity to earn profits out of insurance. So you cannot earn profit out of insurance, right? So with that explanation, I'm going to start with the first principle. So in your syllabus, guys, you have like, so there are so many principles. The principles that we don't talk about the insurance industry, but in your syllabus, there are like 4 main insurance principles. But again, this the principles of indemnity have like 2 things. So altogether, you are like 6 kila kiyanna puluwan. Those are like sub principles kila api me dekala kiyana. Right? Not main principles. sub-principles. Right? So the subrogation, contribution. Right? Those are like sub-principles in the indemnity. So I'll start with the first one. Insurable interest. Insurable interest. Now there's something like this. Now let's say that in a business, you have this set of assets. Now let's forget about the business. Let's take your life. I would say for your life, we have an unlimited insurable interest over your life. Right, I'll explain. Now guys, the insurable interest. Remember the fact that students misunderstand this concept with the ownership. මේ insurable interest එක පටලව ගන්නවා ownership එකත් එක්ක. Ownership. Remember that. ඔයාට insurance එකක් ගන්න ownership එක තියෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ asset එකක. දැන් vehicle එකක් lease ගත්තොත් fully lease එක ගෙවන එක ඔයාට full ownership එක ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ, but you can still insure that property, that asset or vehicle. ඒ නිසා මතක තියාගන්න asset එකක් insure කරනවාට ownership එක it's not the case. Ownership is not the case. Ownership එක තියෙන assets උත් පුළුවන් සමහරට you don't have the ownership but you have the insurable interest. So remember the difference between that. So the insurable interest is not the ownership. Or maybe something like this. Or maybe you have the ownership as well as you have the insurable interest. Let's say your own vehicle. Right? Your own set of jewelries. You are the owner and you have the insurable interest. But maybe the owner is a different person, different party, but you have in the insurable interest. So what the insurer concerns is not the ownership. Insurance company ka balane ownership එක නෙමෙයි, whether you have the insurable interest. Right? Now let me explain. Guys, the insurable interest is about having a property or an asset. Having a property or an asset should provide you economic benefits. Economic benefits. Right? Economic benefits. And not having that asset or property will give you economic losses. Economic losses. Right? සරලව කිව්වොත් මොනාරි asset එකක් හරි property එකක් ඔයාලඟ තියෙන තාක්කල් ඔයාලට ඒකෙන් වාසි ගෙනලා දෙනවා. ප්‍රයෝජන ලැබෙනවාට. Right? The example your own vehicle. ඔයාලට vehicle එක ඔයාලඟ තියෙන තාක්කල් transportation use කරන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔයාලට මේක rent කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So think about an asset, machine එකක්. Right? Now let's say in a bookshop, the photocopy machine. Right? So a machine එක තියෙන තාක්කල් ඒගොල්ලන්ට economic benefits ලබලා දෙනවා. Right? Financial benefits. And not having that asset will provide economic losses. ඒතර කවුරු හරි එනවා machine එක කැඩිලා එනවා earn කරන්න වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Right? Machine එක කැඩිලා you are not being able to give that service. So asset or property, so by having that asset provide you economic benefits and not having that asset should provide you economic losses. Okay. So that's the concept. Another example like let's say you are a businessman, you have a property. There you have your business premises. In a main property එක තියෙන තාක්කල් ඔයාලට ලැබෙන economic benefit එක. මේ property එක damage එකක් වුණොත්, මේ property ගිනි ගත්තොත්, හානියක් වුණොත්, so then it will give you economic losses. You don't have a place to operate your business, and then you have to move to another place where you have to pay a rent, something like that. And again tell you like you have a rental property. So having that asset provide you economic benefits. You get the rent income. මේ property damage එකක් වුණොත් ඔයාට income එක ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ. Right? So that's the simple way I could explain. So remember the fact that insurable interest, it's not about the ownership. You might have the ownership or not, that's not the matter. Right? The insurer do not care about that. So what they care about is the insurable interest. Right? Now let's say the fact that when you come to a jewelries, අපි මසාල example එකක් ගන්න. So you have your own set of jewelries. Yes, you have the insurable interest. දැන් අපි හිතමු මොනවාරි බැංක් එකක් නැත්නම් warning center එකක් කියලා අපි කිව්වොත් උකස් මධ්‍යස්ථානයක්. නැත්නම් the bank also provide that warning services අපි කිව්වොත් උකස් සේවය. So a person, right? කෙනෙක් ගිහලා ආගේ jewelries තියලා එයා මොනාරි gold loan එකක් ගන්නවා, right? රන් අය සේවාවක් ගන්න. එතකොට බැංක් එකට the ownership එක තියෙන jewelries වල නැහැ. But guys, they have the insurable interest, right? එනම් බැරි වෙලාවත් ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අතින් මේ jewelries නැති වුණොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ? It provide a huge economic loss, right? දැන් මේ ආපෝ සල්ලි අරගෙන එනවා ඒ customer ඔයාගේ අතින් නැති වෙලා. So it's provide economic losses. ඔයාට මේක ownership එකක් නැහැ jewelries වලට, right? But still you have the insurable interest. So where you can take the insurance policy. ඔයාට පුළුවන් ඒක තියෙනවා insure කරන්න, right? So remember the fact that the insurable interest, right? So mega parties දෙකකට ගන්න පුළුවන් insurable interest in terms of life insurance, in terms of the general insurance. කියන්නේ life නැති අනිත් insurance. I'll start from the life insurance. ඔයාගේ life එකට for your life you have unlimited insurable interest. ඒක කාටවත් measure කරන්න බෑ. There's no limitation on that, right? ඔයාට පුළුවන්. So you have the for your life, yes, you have the insurable interest. Now let's say the relationship between the parents and kids, parents and children. Parents, they do not have any insurable interest. Hi, the blood relationship. Blood relationship no insurable interest එකක් නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ parents ලාට බෑ කාව insure කරන්නද children, right? Why? මොකද ඒතර මේ වගේ දෙයක් වෙන්නේ. තමන්ට ළමයි ඉන්නවා ළමයි නිසා economic benefits තියෙනවා. ළමයි නැති වුණොත් economic losses. එහෙමද? නැහැ. ඒක ගන්න නැහැ. Right? That is why they do not take. ඇත්තම having children is kind of not economic benefits. The economic losses නැති නේ all the expenses that you have to bear, right? As a parent. Right? So you cannot say by having children provide economic benefits to the parents. මට ළමයි නිසා මට economic benefits ලැබෙනවා කියන එක accept කරන්නේ නැහැ. That is why the blood relationship or the relationship between parents and kids. Parents, the kids නැත්නම් children, no relationship, right? Again, no relationship, no insurable interest, right? But the blood relationship with parents, children, among the siblings, you don't have that, right? Sister, brother, insure brother, sister, relationship. So parents versus kids unimpacted versus siblings, right? They also do not have insurable interest. And the mother sister mother brother economic benefits brother economic benefits you cannot come up with an idea like that. So I would say the sisters, brothers, or the siblings sister, brother no insurable interest because of the blood relationship is there, right? When situation example ekak and anith example correct, right? Now but when you come to a husband and wife situation, right? Husband and wife, right? What do you think, guys? What do you think? Husband and wife? Yes, each have an insurable interest. Husband. So having a wife, it's providing you the economic benefits. Wife by having a husband, yes, it's provide economic benefits, right? So husband and wife is there. Wife now wife having a husband is providing economic benefits. යාට ආර්ථික ලාභ ලැබෙනවා යාට husband කෙනෙක් ඉන්න නිසා. එන husband නැති වුණොත් යාට economic loss එකක් තමයි වෙන්නේ. ඒ නිසා දැන් ඒක wife ගේ පැත්තෙන් විතරක් හිතන එක අසාධාරණ නිසා both parties both have the insurable interest, which means the fact that husband පුළුවන් wife insurance කරන්න, wife පුළුවන් husband insurance කරන්න, right? දැන් ඉස්සර වගේ නෙමෙයි දැන් අදත් නේද දැන් කාලේ doing the jobs, doing the businesses. නිසා ඒක පැත්තෙන් ගත්තොත් advantage එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ wife පුළුවන් husband insure කරන්න, හැබැයි husband බෑ wife. එහෙම එකක්. So it's unfair, right? It's unfair. හරි ඒ නිසා but remember the fact that අපි wife ගේ පැත්තේ හිතමු. now wife මෙන්න හිතනවා. So having a husband provide her the economic benefits. now husband ගේ පැත්තෙන් ගත්තොත් yes having the wife providing the economic benefits. යාට financial benefits ලැබෙනවා, right? මුදල් ලැබෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ the husband නේ ගිහලා earn කරගෙන එනවා. එතකොට so whatever the expenses cover you can cover, right? It's like a both parties. So remember the fact that yes, so HW husband wife නැත්නම් wife husband මේගොල්ලන්ට තියෙනවා insurable interest එකක්. මම මේකට හරියක් දානවා. දැන් මේ ඔක්කොම නැහැ, right? මේගොල්ලන්ට right එකක් නැහැ. But remember the not the ownership. අපි අනිත් පැත්තටම general insurance කියන්නේ life නැති අනිත් insurance. Jewelries ගැන මම කතා කරා, right? Pawning services here. තවත් එකක් අපි ගත්තොත් debtors, right? Debtors. Example එකක් විදිහට business එකක් විදිහට loan එකක් නැත්නම් credit sales කියලා කියන්නේ. So then so having a debtor provide you the economic benefits. Data කියන අපි ණයයක් තියෙන්නේ. ඒවා ණයට බාණ්ඩ විකුණනට පස්සේ when you sell goods on credit basis අපි කියන්නේ credit sale එකක් කියලා. එහෙනම් debtor කෙනෙක් නැති වුණා කියන වාට පාඩුවක්. එහෙනම් debtor කෙනෙක්ව insure කරන්න වාට පුළුවන්. right? එහෙනම් වාට debtor ළඟ ownership නැහැ. වාට අයිතිකාරයෙක් නෙමෙයි වාට debtor. හරියි? But having the debtor providing the economic benefits මොකද යාගින් සල්ලි ලැබෙන්න තියෙනවා. debtor කෙනෙක් නැති වුණොත් ඒක වඩා loss එකක්. So you are not in a position to cover that money, right? Correct. So remember the fact that the insurable interest is not about the ownership. Then අපි තුමා rental property එකක ඉන්නේ කියලා ඔයාගේ business එකේ rent එකක rental building එකක. Or ownership වෙන but you can still get insurance for that, right? Or a warehouse එකක් තියෙනවා, warehouse එකේ ඔයා නෙමෙයි true owner. But you have that insurable interest, right? So there are a couple of examples. Mainly ගොඩක්ම check කරන එක තමයි remember the fact that parents kids they do not have because of the blood relationship, right? And also when you come to the siblings, right? Sister brother they do not have each one, but you have the insurable interest husband and wife. මොකක්ද අපි මෙතන බලන්නේ having the economic benefits මොනාරේ asset එකක් or that life. So having economic benefits or having that asset should provide you economic benefits. Not having that ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක නැති වුණ දවසක වට loss එකක් ලබලා දෙන්න ඕනේ. It's not about the guys ownership. Remember the fact that it's not about the ownership. Ownership තියෙන්නත් පුළුවන් නැති වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. That does not matter. Right. Shall we write the subtopic principles of insurance? The first one, insurable interest. මම මේකට definition එකක් දෙන්නම්. But I want you to take this, right? I want you to take this and how you take it. හරි මේ පැත්තේ ඉන්නවා insure ඒක අපි දන්න දෙන්නේ, right? එහෙනම් අපි මෙතන මම පොඩ්ඩක් වෙනස් කරන්නම්. Having that asset or person. Having that asset, that person provide you economic benefits. A asset එක හරි ඒ පුද්ගලයා හරි නැති වෙන දවසට එහෙනම් so not having that asset brings you what It brings to economic losses or the පාඩුවක් තමයි සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ. That's what we think about, right? Not the ownership. Economic advantages and economic losses. Economic benefits කියන්න පුළුවන්, advantages කියලා කියන්නත් පුළුවන්. ආට ආර්ථික වාසියක් තියෙනවා. නේද? අපි ඇත්ත කතා කරන්නේ අපි from not the love and caring point of view අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම wife the husband නිසා economic advantage එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේ මේක අනිත් පැත්ත husband and wife නිසා economic advantage එකක් තියෙනවා. So they have the insurance interest to each other. Asset පැත්තදී එක ප්‍රශ්නයක් නේ. asset එකද අපිට කෙලින්ම identify කරගන්න පුළුවන්. asset එක අපිට economic benefit එකක් දෙනවා නම්. Right. So shall we take this, guys? An insurable interest, not about the ownership. It's a totally different concept. So it's not going to equal for the ownership. Ownership එක තියෙනත් පුළුවන් නැති වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෙමෙයි. So parents, kids, they do not have. Sister, brother, they don't have. But HW, WH keyword, X refers husband, wife. They have that insurable interest. In a criteria, so having that asset or person should provide you economic advantages. Not having that, the moment you lose that asset, right? You lost that asset, so it brings you economic losses. Right, so I'll give you like another 1 to 2 minutes, then I'll give you explanation about insurable interest. You can take it. And guys, you can take this ඔක්කොමත් මේක දාගත්තනේ the content එක ලියන වෙලාව ඔක්කොම ටික දාගත්තනේ principles of insurance. So no need to write again all the principles. So you can just start with the insurable interest. So always remember the fact that it's not about the ownership. And the ගොඩක් වෙලාවට ඔයාගේ හිතාගෙන ඉන්නේ insurance policy එකක් ගන්න මට මේ asset එකේ ownership එක තියෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒක ඇත්තට totally incorrect, right? ඔයාට අයිතියක් තියෙන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. හොඳම example එක අර jewelry, gold jewelries. bank එකට ඒව අයිති නැහැනේ. නේද? ඒක තියලා කෙටි කාලීන loan එකක් තමයි ගන්න, short term loan එකක්. Right, ඒක jewelries වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, වෙන asset එකක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් නේද? අපි කියන්නේ අර උකස් භාණ්ඩ කියලා, right? asset එක දීලා සල්ලි ඉල්ල ගන්නවා. හැබැයි දැන් ownership එක නෑ, but still have the insurable interest. Right, if you're done with this, I'll be sharing this one with some more examples that you can write it. Right, so here's the explanation along with some more examples. The interest over anything whereby the existence of it, existence of it explain asset or that particular individual or person poses economic advantages to you. එහෙනම් අර asset එක හරි පුද්ගලයාවත් එක්ක ඉන්න තාක්කල් ඔයාට හම්බ වෙනවා benefits or the advantages. And the loss of it, what do we mean by the loss of it is that you are not having that asset or that particular person, then it causes, it's one of the reason to have economic disadvantage. So that is the insurable interest. එහෙනම් මෙතන ownership එක ගැන මුකුත් කියන්නේ නැහැ. Right? ඒවා legal owner ද එහෙම මුකුත් කියන්නේ. So ownership is not the case. Examples. There are insurable interests over husband's life to wife as well as over wives to husband, each other. The legal owner of any property has the insurable interest. Or the legally IT owner දෙයකට you have the insurable interest. Or the නීතියේ මොනාර දෙයක් IT නම්, I mean a property, right? You have the insurable interest over that property. Right? Your vehicle, your building, your house, so whatever, if you are the legal owner. හැබැයි ඕන වෙන්නේ නැති incidents උත් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. වෙන එකක්, a creditor has an insurable interest over the debtor's life which limits the amount of money he has lent. I'll provide you a detailed explanation about the third point. Just take it. ඒකත් එක්කම ගන්න පුළුවන් අර jewelries කතාවත්. So that those I'll be share separately, right? So those are the set of examples. Right. Shall we write this as well, guys, about that jewelry case? Warning centers කියොත් අපි කියන්නේ උපස් මධ්‍යස්ථාන, right? So warning centers have insurable interest. Over the mortgage assets. Mortgage assets. Again, කස් කරන ලද assets, mortgage assets. Could be a jewelry, could be any other. සමහරට අපි land එකක් කියලා ගන්න පුළුවන්, මොනාරි property එකක් උකසට තියලා ගන්න පුළුවන්, right? නැත්නම් the example like gold jewelries. They have the insurable interest. එනම් මෙතන ownership එකක් නැහැ, but still having the insurable interest. Third point එක කියන්නේ credit එකට තියනවා ඒ credit එකේ amount එක විතරයි. එයාගේ මුළු life එකම අයිතියක් නැහැ. දැන් ඔයාලට data කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා 50,000. So up to 50,000 you have the insurable interest. More than that you cannot have. Our data කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා 50,000 ඔයාලට පුළුවන් ද 1 million ඔයාව insure කරන්න බෑ. Right? Should limit that to that extent. The data's life is limits the amount of money. මේක ගොඩක් MCQ වල check කරන point එකක්. ගොඩක් students ඉතින් ඉන්නවා යාගේ data ගේ life එකම පුළුවන් insure කරන්න කියලා. එහෙම බෑ. Up to that value only. එහෙනම් 50,000 data කෙනෙක්ට 50,000 value එකක්. 1 million නම් 1 million value. So it's limit the credit amount. So, so please highlight the fact which limits the amount he has lent. Lent කරපු ප්‍රමාණය විතරයි ඔයාලට ලැබෙන්නේ. Those are like the examples. අනිත් එක ලියන්න අවශ්‍යයි. icon note එක දාගත්තා නේද? Parents kids they do not have, sister brother they do not have insurable interest. That is also keep in mind. Right, so I'm going to give another 1 minute. So then I'll discuss another principle. Principle so then we can wrap up today's session. But the rest of the like kind of easy to understand. Complicated pen, right? So remember the fact. So what are the things we have the insurable interest and what you don't have. So the key thing is that to get an insurance policy, you need to have the insurable interest. අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ඔයාලට insurable interest එක තිබුණොත් විතරයි ඔයාලට ඒක coverage එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ. But when you come to the parents kid situation, on behalf of the kids or children, the parents can take an insurance policy. ඒගොල්ලන් insure කරනා නෙමෙයි ඒගොල්ලෝ වෙනුවෙන් ඒක ගන්න පුළුවන්. It's like අර bank account එකක් open කරනවා වගේ දෙයක්. Right. Hope we are done with that, guys. So, අපි තව එක policy principle එකක් ගමු, that is the utmost good faith. Utmost. What do you mean by utmost? Parima vishwasaya. So insurance is sometimes it's all about the trust, right? I'll explain that. ඔයාට මෙතන කිසිම බොරුවක් කිවීමේ හැකියාවක් නැහැ නේද? බොරුවක් කිව්වොත් අපි කියන්නේ බොරුවක් කියන්නත් පුළුවන්, සමහර දන්න දේ නොකියා ඉන්න එකත් මෙන්න මේකට අයිති. Utmost good faith. So I'll explain that, right? Now let's imagine that you are about to, right, to do a proposal. Or then proposal එකක් කරන්න. කාටද propose කරන්න? To an insurance company. You want to obtain a life insurance policy, right? Imagine life insurance policy. So you go and propose. Yes. How? Not just to the life insurance policy, make a Onama principle like Onama insurance type make apply. Now you need to reveal all the information. You are not the person who decide, okay, this information, there's no need of declaring it. Make a the insurance company will decide whether that's relevant to or not. Your job is, your duty is to declare or reveal all the information about you, especially about your health. For example, like now let's say the person Akash obtains insurance policy from AIA Insurance, right? So මෙතන ප්‍රශ්න ගොඩාක් අහනවා. I'll show you the policy document and application form. මෙතන රටේ නැති ප්‍රශ්න අහනවා. example එකක් විදිහට personal details වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒතකොට ඊට පස්සේ අපි ගැලුවොත් ගොඩක් වෙලාවට example එකක් මම මේක විදිහක් කියනවා. ඒක අහනවා whether you smoke or not, whether you are taking liquor or not. smoke කරනවද liquor ගන්නවද අහනවා. එතකොට ඒක no දාලා තියෙනවා. හරි, no smoke. හරි, ඊට පස්සේ liquor ගන්නෙත් නැහැ no දාලා. හැබැයි මොන හරි disease එකක් වෙලා ඒකෙන් හේතු හොයාගන්න මේකට මොනවා අපි කියනවා something like cirrhosis. හේතු තමයි මෙයා මේ liquor අරගෙන තියෙන මේ. ඊට පස්සේ liquor ගන්නවා නම් ඒගොල්ලෝ මේ sample එකක් කියන්නේ liquor වල years නම් ඒ ගන්නවා daily කොච්චරක් daily හරි the occasion නැත්නම් daily ගන්න කොච්චරක් milliliters ගන්න ඒකක් තමයි. smoke කරන මොන හරි the quantity they ask, right? තවත් example එකක්. So before you had any surgeries before, අර මොන හරි කලින් surgery එකක් කරලා තියෙනවා. සමහර එයා surgery එකක් කරලා තියෙනවා දාලා no කියලා. හැබැයි පස්සේ තේරෙන මොන හරි මොනකට කලින් surgery එකක් කරලා තියෙනවා. So then when there's a situation where you have not disclosed or you have intentionally provided false information, innocent misrepresentation කියලා එනවා දැනගෙනම මේ information දීලා නැහැ. අනිත් එකව දැනගෙන නැතිව ඉඳලා දෙන්න නැති වෙනත් පුළුවන්. So somehow the provide all the true and correct information is important. If in case the insurer get to know that you have provided a set of false information, they have a right to reject your claim. ඔයා කියලා තියෙනවා liquor ගන්නෙත් නැහැ, smoke කරන්නෙත් නැහැ කියලා මොන හරි ඔයා claim කරන්න යන disease එක related to that. නේ medical reports වලින් කියනවා මේ reason එක තමයි මේක. And also maybe the family history, the family medical histories are like of that. So you need to provide all the set of things, right? ඒ වගේම asset එකක් සම්බන්ධවෙනුත් ඔක්කොම you need to provide the correct information. That is whether the trust, the utmost good faith is there, right? Correct. Now I'll show you guys about insurance policy. Example like you can see, yes, the kind of questions they're asking, right? Any disease of the brain nervous system, any disease of lungs, disease of anything. So the kind of lot of patients they are asking, right? So likewise, you can see, have you been ever hospitalized for any clinical examination? Disorders of blood. So likewise, so in you need to make sure that you provide the correct information, right? These set of things. A lot of patients, guys, you can see the fact, right? So providing the correct information is important, right? Correct. Shall we write the definition for that as well? It's a kind of something easy that we can understand, right? Approximate course, sorry, utmost good faith. Utmost good faith. So write the subtopic or your next policy, the principle, utmost good faith. Revealing all information related to the insurance agreement by the insurer and the insured, the morally regarding the object subjected to insurance. Me මොනවද insure කරන්න යන්නේ property එක ගැන, so to reveal all the information අවශ්‍ය සියලු තොරතුරු ලබා දෙන්න ඕනේ without providing false information, right? So it's about revealing all information. The moment they realize that you have violated this principle, they have a right to reject your claim. මොනවාරි වැරදි තොරතුරක් මේගොල්ලන්ට provide කරලා තියෙනවා when you fill that application form. So there's a right, if they go to know about that, they have a right to reject it. They have a right to reject it. So having that knowledge about the principles of insurance is one of the important. Right, guys, I hope the time is sufficient for you to take this. Right, so with that, we have covered, up to this one, insurable interest done, utmost good faith. Tawat principle dekak, along with two sub-principles, indemnity and proximate costs, will be discussing next Monday. Right, guys, thank you for joining, and we'll see you on. Thanks.